Hello and welcome to Lockdown Beers here on New Zealand Sport Radio. Hi, I'm Paul and I'll be with you today. I don't know if anyone's going to join me because I've not invited anyone or given anyone the link, so probably going to be on my own today. But yeah, never know. Let me just copy the link and at least send it to a couple of people to see if anyone is around and wants to join me for a quick beer. In the what are we going to talk about today? Well, obviously, South Africa seemed to be the main topic of conversation because we've had the Springboks squad. We've also had Wiese who got away with his clear out, or if you want to whatever it was really deemed to be in the end that he did at the end of the that he got cited for. Yeah, we'll talk about those two things. Also got the Nice Rugby Championship news on that, and I'll have a quick chat about some of the games I'm doing this weekend. And where are we? Oh, it's 5 o'clock. Quick, let's get the beer open. There we go, because it is lockdown beers, folks. Yes, I know that Auckland, on the Waikato still, Auckland is back to level 3, but that's effectively lockdown, but with takeaways. Look, that's... and if you are in Auckland, thank you very much for behaving and following the rules. That's why we'll be able to get down to level 3 there. And also, please do follow the rules going forward so we can get down even further than that as well. Let me just share the link with people. There we go. If someone turns up, someone turns up. If they don't. No big deals on that one. Wiese, look, you've got to wonder now. Geordie Barrett should have been banned. Let's be honest, should have had it because he. If we look at the decisions over the last few years, people who've done something similar to Geordie Barrett, they all got banned. So he was the only one not to. So let's be honest, that was so Sanzar dropped the ball there. Wiese, let's be honest, he also went in and definitely made contact with the head, and Sanzar have again decided that that does not deserve a ban. So you've got to start wondering what is Sanzar's approach really to player welfare, because at the moment they really don't seem to be having any. Seems basically just abdicated any responsibility for player welfare, because a boot to the face and then a shoulder down into someone like that, really two moves that both should have been that both should have led to some length of ban. I'm not saying for 6 months or anything silly like that, but at least a couple of weeks there on that one. So disappointed by Sanzar in the way they have gone about that. Look, it appears to be their way, and we'll just have to see how that impacts these teams when they go up north for the end of year tests, and will the judiciaries up there think around these kind of actions. So let's see. We might end up with some bans for actions that look pretty similar to ones we've seen over the last couple of weeks, and it'll just lead to more of that inconsistency and people throwing their arms up in the air. Anyway, time for a quick beer. A bit all over the place this evening because I have only just got through the door, but had to do lockdown beers and have a chat with you about all of the latest goings on. So anyway, I'm not sure there's much more to say about that. I've tweeted out about it, and plenty of other people have as well, and we'll just see. And look, it's over, isn't it? We'll move on. There we go. That's where the last we'll talk about it for a while, really, in all honesty. We've had the Springboks team announced. Now, Wiese was said that he wasn't available because they couldn't get the hearing done in time. But look, you've got to say that the Springboks named their squads way earlier than any other team. It's an action I like. It's kind of saying they've done it all the way through against Lions, and also all the way through the Rugby Championship as well. I like it because it's basically saying, look, here's what we're bringing, see if you can stop it. And it shows confidence in your team. Okay, that confidence may have been a little bit misplaced for those last 2 losses, but still, I think it's a process. I think it's something that I like the process of. There's been a few changes, or a couple of changes for this game against the All Blacks, and the on the 100th anniversary and all of that kind of stuff. But you've got it. But I must admit, a lot less changes than I think a lot of us were expecting. In the pack, then, Kenya, Mbambi, Maherby, the front row, with Etzbeth and Diego coming back from his concussion there in the locks. Not surprised at all to see Diego back in there. Amongst the loosies, then, Khaleesi still there in that 6th jersey, which obviously is open side for South Africa, with Quagga Smith coming in on the blind side and Vermeulen at number 8. Vermeulen still, look, only his 3rd game back from injury, has looked a bit off the pace. And you've got to say, this game against the All Blacks will be playing with as much pace as they can muster. So that is why I think we've got Quagga Smith in there instead of Mostert, who has dropped to the bench in a 5-3 split, not the 6-2 there. So Marks, Kitchoff and Koch are there to replace the front row. Mostert as the lock replacement, and Van Staden comes in as the loose replacement there for that one. So Quagga Smith, look, he's there because they're going to need his engine for the full 80, aren't they? And you expect Vermeulen to get replaced by Van Straten as he runs out of gas at some point, because I say the All Blacks will be trying to keep ball in play as much as possible. Into the backs then, we've got Faf de Klerk and Pollard. They're still in the 9-10 combo, and in fact, it's an unchanged back line with Delende in the centres, Mapimpi, Nkosi on the wings, and LaRue at fullback. Unfortunately, I've gone blank. Anyway, the player I'm talking about, who is the best player in the world, isn't available. He's still got a knee injury. So yeah, look, I would have thought some sort of changes in that backline would be expected, but no, it's the exact same backline there. Herschel Jantjies still on the bench. Elton Jantjies comes on to the bench, and also Francois Steyn as well. So wow, Francois still doing it, and it'd be interesting. Obviously, he's got a massive boot, and we'll see if when he comes on. But experience there, and a side that's on the pitch that I think is emotionally and mentally worn out because of, look, they've been in lockdown they've been in a bubble for so long. Their families, the ones in South Africa anyway, are going through had some real tough times with COVID, and they've not been there to help them. They've obviously gone through the emotions of a 3-test Lions tour, and then also come over to Australia. So it's been it's been a hard time for them, much harder than it has been for the All Blacks or the Wallabies. Let's be honest. Let's see if they can get themselves up for this game. To me, this is I think they have to win the first one. If they lose this one, then I think in the second one they're going to really struggle, as I think they're just going to get more and more tired. But look, that's me. I'm not in the camp. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But they go in as obviously real underdogs into this game against the All Blacks, despite being world champions and also British and Irish Lions champions, series champions as well. So looking at the on the bookies, the TAB have got the All Blacks as very strong favourites there. As I say, I thought we'd see a couple more changes than that, but they're clearly sticking with the team that they consider to be their best side, and trusting them to be able to bounce back from that loss. So we'll enjoy that game. It kicks off 7 p.m. on Saturday. Clearly, I will be doing post-match reaction to that game. Also look to do post-match reaction at about midnight because of the 10 o'clock kickoff for the Wallabies versus the Pumas as well. So do join us for both those on this channel. Also, a bit of a long weekend. So also got Bay of Plenty versus Wellington in the Farah Palmer Cup on Saturday. So there'll be post-match interviews from that, and also Bay of Plenty versus Taranaki on Sunday in the Bunnings NPC. So again, look out for coverage of those. If you would like to support, or rephrase that, please do support me in getting around those games and bring you these 5 o'clock lockdown beers to help you get through lockdown, and doing the post-match reactions and all that kind of stuff via patreon.com/NZ Sport Radio. We really do appreciate all our supporters on there. And we have put out some supporter special shows looking at the Fijian Drua, Moana Pacifica, also talking about 20-minute red cards, and a few other things as well that have come out recently for our supporters only, both as videos and podcasts as well. Don't forget, you can get this as a podcast if you missed any of it, folks. Just search for New Zealand Sport Radio on any of your favourite podcatchers. Also, this is be coming out at 5 o'clock on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So that's what's going on this weekend for me, at the very least. Obviously, I'll be watching the NPC game on Friday night as well. But those are the games I'm actually going to get to this weekend. Final little bit of news is that the United Rugby Championship, or the URC, is going to be on Spark Sport here in New Zealand, which will be the first piece of 15s rugby that Spark Sport have had in a while. The last bit they had was at the Rugby World Cup back in 2019. Spark Sport. Now, look, I don't have Spark Sport because I see it mainly as basically a cricket channel. On the whole, I'm sure they do. I know they do have other stuff as well, but cricket is their main one, where they have all the local test matches, one-day internationals, T20s, and all the local domestic cricket here in New Zealand. So interesting to see Spark Sport go after the URC. It'll be interesting to see how the what was the word I was looking for? See how many people they do get to sign up to watch that. To be honest, clearly it'll be really interesting seeing how the South African Super Rugby franchises go against teams like Leinster and Munster, who have gone so well in Europe. Also, they'll be qualifying for Europe as well, which is great. So look, it's a really intriguing competition, but with it being on Spark, I won't be able to watch it. Put bluntly, I pay for Sky, which is where I get all my All Blacks tests, where I get all the Super Rugby, where the top 14, where the Gallagher Premiership, where all of the other rugby essentially is on Sky. So interesting that they didn't get the URC. Clearly, Spark has Sky has been outbid by Spark. I wouldn't have thought it'd be a major target for Sky. I think Sky's major targets are the All Blacks, Super Rugby, the netball, and also the NRL. Those are the kind of the key things they've gone, and they also picked up overseas cricket as well. But I think those are the main pieces that Sky are building or build their show around, and also they also have some motorsport and other stuff as well, obviously in the UFC, etc. So URC on Spark Sport here in New Zealand, basically I think means that very few people will actually get to see it, or cricket fans will get to see it, but non-cricket fans won't. If anyone does have Spark Sport and they think that I'm being unrealistic as to kind of what Spark Sport offers, then it'll be interesting. I'd love to hear that. Some interesting kind of comments about how the Super Rugby franchises have in South Africa have grown since they left Super Rugby. I can see that for the Sharks and for the Bulls, but less so for the Western Province and the Lions, in all honesty. So some marketing speak in that one. And look, they have got a great mixture of players and stars in that. Obviously, British and Irish Lions players, internationals from the Six Nations, internationals from the Rugby Championship. It's going to be a great mix. It has potential to be a really good tournament. Definitely gets basically a real chance for the Celtic nations, or the Pro 14 the ex-Pro 14 teams, to get themselves a domestic competition or a club competition, because obviously everyone will say it's an international pool. It's not in one place, sure, but it's a club competition. So and what I would call a domestic competition that could rival the Gallagher Premiership, Top 14, and Super Rugby. It's going to be interesting with how Major League Rugby grows, and how also the Japanese professional league that's kicking off goes as well, and to how they all kind of how people sort of mentally rank them against each other in the coming years. So there you go. That's the main news, rugby news from the past 24 hours. Don't forget, I'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. with Lockdown Beers and Rugby Chat. And on Friday as well. We'll be skipping Saturday and Sunday, folks, because I'm going to be at rugby games and therefore not able to be at home at 5 p.m. Or I'll be or I'll be in transit and not wanting to rush back in necessarily. So do join me on the next couple of days, and then obviously look forward to the rugby this weekend. Everyone in 09, well done, and please do follow the level 3 lockdown rules. Enjoy your takeaways, and do remember the local takeaways. It's not just McDonald's and KFC. There's all the local little shops as well, so do look at supporting those and supporting me as well. Patreon.com/NZ Sport Radio.